The Philippines National Security Council is preparing to release an updated map highlighting the country's maritime entitlements, in line with the 2016 arbitral ruling and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. This new map, designed to counter China's 10-line map, is crucial for delineating Philippine territorial waters for safe navigation and environmental protection, according to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. This move has heightened tensions between China and the Philippines, with the United States also becoming involved in the South China Sea disputes. Colonel Medel Aguilar, spokesperson for the AFP, emphasized the significance of the map, which adheres to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, in instilling pride and responsibility among Filipinos to protect Philippine territory. In response to China's depiction of the 10-line on its new national map, claiming most of the South China Sea as its territory, a Senate panel will develop an updated Philippine map. The current version of the administrative map includes the Calayan Island Group, Scarborough Shoal, Macclesfield Bank, West Philippine Sea, and Benham Rise region. The map also includes Saba, which the Philippines claims but is not actively pursuing against its ASEAN neighbor, Malaysia. The Philippines' 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone west of the archipelago will now be referred to as the West Philippine Sea. Beyond the 200 nautical mile zone, it will still officially be known as the South China Sea. This marks the first time the Philippine government will release an updated map showcasing the country's maritime entitlements, 7 years after the United Nations-backed arbitration tribunal ruled that some rock features in the Spratlys form part of the Philippines' ease. The UN Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf previously approved the Philippines' application to extend its continental shelf limit beyond 200 nautical miles from the base shorelines east of Luzon Island. The 13 million hectare continental shelf, called Benham Rise by mariners, was renamed Philippine Rise. Recently, China published its map showing 10 dashes forming a U-shape in the South China Sea. In August, the Philippines protested against China after the latter released its updated standard map showing 10 dashes that form a U-shape, claiming nearly the entire South China Sea as part of its territory. The area overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines and those of Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The Philippines' updated map will have to undergo many layers of the approval process to ensure that it is consistent with the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea and the arbitral award. This landmark ruling invalidated China's expansive claims in the South China Sea, with the arbitral tribunal largely ruling in favor of Manila in its ease and continental shelf that are being claimed by Beijing. The Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and India, all of which have territorial disputes with China, have raised objections to the 2023 version of China's standard map, released on August 28 by the Chinese Ministry of Natural Resources. The map features a U-shaped line that reaffirms Beijing's claims to sovereignty over nearly all of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea. This region is rich in resources and strategically important, serving as a crucial route for trillions of dollars in trade each year. The line extends into the exclusive economic zones of several countries, and also encompasses the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, the Aksai Chin region in the Himalayas, which China controls but India also claims, and the Russian territory of Bolshoy Ussuriski Island. At least 6 neighboring countries have objected to China's new standard national map, which features a 10-dash line instead of the previous 9 dashes, used to stake claims on the South China Sea, with an additional dash to the east of Taiwan. Waves of anger have spread across the South China Sea and India this week, following China's publication of a new official map renewing its illegal claims to most of the sea and adding new claims along the east of Taiwan and the Indian border. This could also indicate that China also sees Japanese islands in the Ryukyus as its territory. The new map repeats the 9-line claims made by China and rejected by the United Nations Law of the Sea Tribunal, while also claiming new territory around Taiwan and to the north of India. The Philippines previously contested China's then 9-line before the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which invalidated Beijing's expansive claim. On August 28, the day after, the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs released a statement rejecting China's 2023 standard map. Another noteworthy addition to the future Philippines map is the inclusion of Saba as part of its territorial entitlements. Northeastern Saba is one of the disputed territories of the Philippines, currently under the control of Malaysia. Saba is situated on the northern part of the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia. Presently, Saba is one of the 13 states, along with its 3 federal territories, comprising the Federation of Malaysia. Dating back to the 15th century, the area known today as Saba was part of the Sultanate of Brunei during the reign of its 5th Sultan, Bolkiah. In 1658, the Sultan of Brunei handed over the northern and eastern parts of Borneo to the Sultanate of Sulu as compensation for the latter's assistance in resolving the Brunei Civil War. In 1761, Alexander Dalrymple, an officer of the British East India Company, concluded an agreement with the Sultan of Sulu to allow him to set up a trading post in the region. It was formalized in 1878 when William Cowie, on behalf of Dent's Company, negotiated and obtained a concession in perpetuity from the Sultan of Sulu over its holdings in this region. This concession was signed on the 22nd of January 1878 in the palace of the Sultan of Sulu. The rights were subsequently transferred to Alfred Dent, who, on the 26th of August 1881, formed the British North Borneo Provisional Association Limited. A few months later, the British government granted a royal charter, and the British North Borneo Chartered Company was subsequently formed on the 1st of November. In 1888, North Borneo became a protectorate of the United Kingdom. Administration and control over North Borneo remained in the hands of the company despite being a protectorate, and they effectively ruled until 1942. During the Second World War, as part of a continuous expansion of the Empire of Japan, the North Borneo island, including Saba, was occupied by the Japanese from 1942 to 1945. In 1945, after the liberation from Japanese occupation, North Borneo was administered by the British Military Administration and became a British Crown colony until mid-1946. After the Philippines' independence from the United States on July 4, 1946, 7 British-controlled islands on the northern coast of Borneo named Turtle Islands, including Cagayan de Towi-Towi and Manzi Islands, were ceded to the Philippine government by the Crown Colony Government of North Borneo. But Saba still remained part of the British Crown Colony until August 31, 1963, when North Borneo attained self-government from the British Empire. Between 1961 to mid-1963, during the transition of the liberation of Saba, the Kabul Commission was set up to determine whether the people of Sabah and Sarawak favored the proposed Malaysian Union. The Commission found that the union was generally favored by the residents but also noted some opposition from the people. Despite the opposition, the Commission recommended the union without any referendum conducted, unlike the referendum in Singapore. As reported by the Commission, ethnic community leaders of Sabah eventually supported the formation. Despite some opposition, an agreement was signed, and William Good, the last governor of North Borneo, signed on behalf of the territory on the 1st of August 1962, formalizing the agreement to form the union. Initially, the unification of Sabah to Malaysia was scheduled on August 31, 1963, but due to objections from the Philippines and Indonesia, the formation had to be postponed to the 16th of September 1963. At that time, North Borneo, currently known as Sabah, was united with Malaya, Sarawak, and Singapore to form Malaysia. On September 12, 1962, during President Diosdado Macapagal's administration, the Philippine government claimed the territory of North Borneo, and the full sovereignty, title, and dominion over it was ceded by the heirs of the Sultan of Sulu, Muhammad Ismail Karam I, to the Republic of the Philippines. By then, the Philippines continued this territorial claim over North Borneo, based on an agreement signed in 1878 between the Sultan of Sulu and the North Borneo Chartered Company. It maintains the position that the sovereignty of the Sultanate over the territory was not abolished and that North Borneo was only leased to the North Borneo Chartered Company. However, Malaysia considers this dispute a non-issue, as it interprets the 1878 agreement as one of cession and deems that the residents of Saba had exercised their right to self-determination when they joined to form the Malaysian Federation in 1963. Going back to the 17th century, the hydrographical and choreographical chart of the Philippine Islands was one of the first versions of the Philippines map. This magnificent map of the Philippine archipelago, drawn by the Jesuit father Pedro Murillo Velarde and published in Manila in 1734, is the first and most important scientific map of the Philippines. The Philippines was at that time a vital part of the Spanish Empire, and the map shows the maritime routes with captions from Manila to Spain and to Mexico, known as New Spain, in another Spanish territory. Recent developments in the West Philippine Sea include accusations against China for massive coral harvesting at a reef in the South China Sea. The US, through its top diplomat in the Philippines, has expressed concern over the coral destruction near Palawan, suspected to be caused by Chinese activities. The Western Command of the AFP reported severe habitat damage and its negative impact on ecosystems and livelihoods. The Department of Foreign Affairs has voiced grave concerns about the environmental damage, reflecting issues addressed in the 2016 Arbitral Award on the South China Sea. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section.